If you are having problems charging your iPhone 12 Pro Max, then you need to watch this video because I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions on how to replace the charging port, starting off with the hot plate. We're going to get this phone nice and toasty. I've got the hot plate set to 85 degrees C. I'm going to turn the phone off, and then I'm going to use a pentalobe screwdriver to remove the 2 screws from the bottom of the device. Store those safely for reinstallation later. And to remove the screen, you need to be very, very careful. I would recommend using one of these suction cups like this one, some isopropyl alcohol, a little plastic guitar pick, and half a Dorco blade. These are really sharp, really thin razor blades. Pop the suction cup right on the bottom third there, and then we're going to insert the razor blade into the bottom, making sure that it sits flat. It doesn't want to be like half in, half out. Then add a few drops of isopropyl alcohol underneath that razor blade, and I'm going to lift up that sort of way with the suction cup, and then I'm going to pry upwards with the razor blade, and it lifts up quite easily. I think this one's been opened before. You might find that it's a bit troublesome to lift it up like that. Just keep persevering, keep it nice and flat. Once you have lifted it up, you want a gap big enough to fit this guitar pick into, and then you're going to very carefully run it around the edges. If you come across any resistance, just add a few drops of isopropyl alcohol and run it around these edges. Just be careful when you're running down the left-hand side, because there is the screen flex cable and Face ID flex cable that you need to be careful of. Once you've got those 3 sides done, including the bottom, then you can go in the top, and you're just sort of prying it until the screen comes away and opens up like a book like that. Keep your suction cup on, because that's going to act as a prop whilst we open up the phone and get the screen removed. So now that we've got the screen removed, we're going to work on a nice flat surface. It looks like this battery would require replacement soon as well. You see those little creases and that there. But for this job, we're just concentrating on the charging port. Starting off, we're going to take a tri-wing screwdriver and remove the 4 screws that hold down this shield for the display cable and the battery cable. So just whilst I'm on the subject of screws, I'm going to use one of these little magnetic mats to store the screws safely. And what I usually do is, like, say I've got those 4 screws out, they're all the same size, so it doesn't matter too bad. I'm going to lift that shield up with the tweezers, and then I'll store that right next to it, so it keeps it organized and it's not going to blow away or anything because it's on a little magnetic mat. So keep using that and lay out all the screws and parts as you take them out. Now we're going to use a plastic spudger to disconnect the battery flex cable, and that's going to isolate power from the device and make sure that the device is off whilst we're working on it. Now we can remove this display cable, and then we'll move up to the top area here where we've got another 4 tri-wing screws that we're going to remove with the tri-wing screwdriver. Once they're all out of the way, then we could do the same as we did with that other shield, storing them on the magnetic mat, lifting up the shield, and then placing them down next to it. We've just got 1 cable to remove now. That's this one here, and then we can remove the screen, and we'll just pop that down to one side for later on. We do need to remove the battery for this repair, so I'm just going to add a few drops of isopropyl alcohol all the way around the edges of the battery, so that when we come to remove it, it's going to be, the adhesive will be softened up quite nicely and make it a little bit easier. Now I'm going to start from right to left, starting off by removing the loudspeaker first of all. So there's 1 screw in the top right of it, 1 in the bottom right, and these are all crosshead screws. And then that allows us to remove this loudspeaker from in there. There's a little bit of tape on the back of it. Just peel it away from it to detach that. Then I'll go ahead with the standoff screw in the top right. There is 1 more crosshead screw just in the edge of the chassis like that, a little grounding screw. And then we've got this one here as well. Moving on to this bottom area, we've got 1 standoff screw on the right of the lightning connector, another one on the right of the Taptic engine, a few crosshead screws holding down the shield just here. We'll take all 3 of those out together because we'll get that out of the way then. Now we'll go for the Taptic engine. There's 1 on the left here, another screw in this very bottom left corner, and then we can use the plastic spudger to disconnect the Taptic engine here. And then there's another little plastic shield here where we've got a standoff screw here, and that means that we can remove this Taptic engine, followed by this little metal shield it's got a little latch on it, this one. It can be a little bit awkward to remove. But if you get the tweezers and then sort of pull it away this way, and it should come away. Now this barometer sensor has just come away. We just need to do the same with the little microphone there. And we peel that back. You've got one more crosshead screw just here, a standoff screw just here, and I think we just got two more screws in the very bottom of the chassis, either side of the lightning port. I tell a lie, we've got one standoff just here, and then those final two crossheads in the very bottom there. Let's get them out of the way. Now I'm going to just run some isopropyl alcohol around the edges of this flex cable, and that's going to just soften up the adhesive, making it easy to lift up. And then these are a little bit awkward because it tucks under this that little orange bit. Now we've just got this piece of plastic that we need to remove, and we can lift up the flex cable, and that's pretty free now. Next we've got the SIM card reader to remove, so let's pop out the SIM tray first of all. I'll just use the tweezers for that, although I would recommend using the proper tool. Two crosshead screws right next to each other, and then there's one more just here if you look closely. A little standoff on the logic board here, and then that should allow us to remove the SIM tray, or SIM reader, sorry, as long as we disconnect it first, of course, so that I can get into this bottom bit, remove the SIM reader, and that's that out of the way. Oh, we don't need to remove the motherboard. Maybe, just maybe, we can get away without removing the battery, and then that isopropyl alcohol will dry up. I've mistaken this for a different model, I think the 13 models, because from memory now, I mean, we've got two options here. We could just cut it, but we still have the problem where we've got to get it in. So I'm going to just pull it backwards and forwards a little bit. You know what? I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it. Let's cut that just there, which means that we can just pull the flex cable from under there, and that's it, removed. This is waste anyway, it's scrap. I'll probably keep it in just a scrap parts box because we always steal like microphones or other bits and bobs from these. So I don't need the flex cable itself, it's just the bits what are attached to it. We've got the new flex cable. Make sure that you're using a genuine pulled part. Cannot stress this enough. It has to be that, otherwise you'll get a 3-minute boot problem. As usual, we've got the wrong color. It's just always the case whenever we do these charging port repairs. And now we need to tuck this cable into the little bit underneath the battery. And now it's a lot easier to get it in than it is to get it out, because we can just sort of tuck it in, slide it backwards and forwards a little bit, and then it goes in like that. That's it, it's in. So we can now make sure that it connects up just up here. With that plugged in, we're going to put a little bend in it and make sure that it pushes up. Don't use metal tools when you're bending the flex cables. Use the plastic spudger. Just make sure that it pushes in like that, and that's sort of bent around the motherboard there. Same with this guy. We're gonna, that goes around the bottom of the the SIM reader, and it just sort of snakes around the battery until you can sit that in and connect it up. Then we'll go ahead and, oh, hang on, don't connect that one up until the SIM reader's in, sorry, because the cable goes in front of that. I promise I do know what I'm doing. I do these all the time. Explaining it is sometimes a different story, but make sure that these are tucked in, plugged in. Don't plug the battery in just yet, you don't need to. We're just going to start reversing all the screws that we took out. It takes a little while. It's a little bit frustrating, especially when you lose one or you end up with one left over at the end. But we'll start off with that standoff. Then if your memory is good, you'll remember these two crosshead screws at the bottom of the SIM reader. I've said SIM reader a lot of times now. We've got another crosshead screw on this antenna cable just here. Make sure that that goes in. Just as a little side note, you'll notice that these antennas, they have like a little grounding clip on them. Sometimes they get a bit bent, sometimes they snap off. Now, it's not the end of the world if you lose one or two of them, but make sure that there's a few on there that stay on there. Now, we're going to line up the bottom of this charge port. You've got to make sure that that cable tucks under the little orange bit there. So that's tucked under there, and that the microphone's out of the way. They're awkward, but you'll get there. We'll go for those 2 long crosshead screws now. They go into the bottom here. It can be awkward to line up because it's on a funny angle. Get those in. A little bit of adhesive on the back that plastic film that I've left behind. Just peel that away now and push that down. Make sure the mic sits in place right, and we'll carry on. We'll go from left to right this time. So now it's just a bit of a memory game really. A standoff what holds the flex cable in place there, and then on top of that you can put this little plastic jig. I always call it a plastic jig. Don't know what its real name is, because once you've got that held down, you can put the other standoff on the lightning connector. So that's in place, that's in place. That means that we can now fold the barometer sensor. Be careful with that because it's very fragile. And the microphone sensor over like that. And these will probably spring back. I told you so. But it's okay because we'll get the shield on. We'll just get it out of the way. This little bit over here is a bit awkward because that flex is a little bent, but you've got 1 crosshead screw that holds that grounding antenna pin, whatever it is, in place. We'll go for the Taptic engine, which sits like that. Can also be plugged in. That pushes there. So now we'll get the little metal shield on top of that, making sure that the barometer sensor sits in its little jig. Followed by crosshead screw there. And I'm just looking at that. It just doesn't look quite right, does it? So I've just seen that I've actually made a little error. So I'm going to reverse what I've done. It's this plastic shield, and I do apologise. So the plastic shield for that just sits on top like that, and then the standoff screw actually goes like that. You can put the other standoff screw in there, then fold over the barometer sensor and microphone, sit them into the little housing thing, and get that little metal shield here. We all make mistakes sometimes. I apologise, guys. I should be on me A game. The other standoff screw now goes in. So I'm trying to hold that shield down with my thumb. It's super springy, that shield. It drives me crazy every time I do one of these repairs. Now there's a crosshead screw what holds this guy down, followed by our Taptic engine, which sits on top of everything and plugs in just here. There is another standoff screw on this side of the Taptic engine there, and then the little plastic shield that goes on top of it. The shield's held down with another crosshead screw, and then this last little grounding screw in the bottom left. Forgot how to speak then. This is all starting to look pretty good now, so we'll move over to this right hand side. We've got a standoff screw holding down the flex cable just here. Another little crosshead screw going into this edge. Another very small crosshead screw in this very bottom right corner. We've got 2 more standoff screws, one on this side of the Taptic engine, another one on the right of the lightning connector. Then we can plonk the loudspeaker on top of that and re-secure that with 4 remaining crosshead screws. Make sure they're going nice and tight. And then I've just noticed that I missed the screw there because I've got 1 screw remaining, and that goes in like that. I've had a mare on that area there, but we've got there in the end. Now, to clean these edges, the best thing to use is a number 4A X-Acto blade. I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs, but just be careful if you are removing the seal. Run it around the edges, removing as much of the remaining adhesive as possible. By the time I snap my fingers, this will be cleaned up. So now that that's all cleaned off, we're going to install a brand new dust and moisture resistant seal, starting off with the top left corner as always. Run it down that left hand edge, and then it should follow it all the way around as long as everything is installed correctly, and you'll have no problems with this. If it's not flat, run the plastic spudger all the way around the edges, and then that should be all good. Peel it off like that. And now it's time to reinstall the screen, starting off with the display cable, followed by the top sensor flex, and of course the battery connector. Now, of course, we've got the shield and the 4 tri-wing screws to hold it down. This would be a good time for you guys to test it as well before you screw all this together. And if you find you have problems charging, take a look at the connection of the charging port. If you find that it shows the Apple logo and flashes, then check your battery connection. If you find you've got no Face ID, of course, check that connection. Same with vibration motor, speaker, etc. Stick the shield up on the top, and then of course, if you like repair content just like this, make sure you are subscribed to the channel for more great videos. With all 4 of those screwed in, we're going to take some tweezers and we're going to peel off that final layer of the dust and moisture resistant seal. Close up the phone, peel it off from that side of the screen, and then to reinstall the screen, we're going to start from the top. Make sure that it's clipped in there, and then run down the edges, pushing it down, making sure that it sticks in nicely. Don't forget the SIM tray while I'm thinking about it. And then the 2 bottom screws need to be popped back in as well. Use your pentalobe screws to torque them in. And then another little note for testing, don't turn it on at the button. Make sure that it boots itself when you plug it in. So you should get the Apple logo like that, and the device should boot. So like I say, make sure that you test vibration. You can do that easily on the little mute rocker. And you can test sounds in settings if you have access to it. That just about completes this video. Make sure you leave me a comment and let me know how you get on with the repair, and see you in the next video.